Number 1, it says solve the equation. We have 7x equals 20. We're trying to get x by itself, and we see the 7 next to it. When 7 is next to x like that, it means they are being multiplied. To undo multiplying, we divide. So we divide both sides by 7, and we get 20 over 7, which can't reduce, so 20 over 7 is going to be your answer. Number 2, we're solving the equation. We have negative 2x equals 6. Negative 2 is being multiplied to x, so to undo that, we divide both sides by negative 2, and we get x equals negative 3. So number 2, the answer is x equals negative 3. Number 3, we have x over 7 equals negative 6, and we're solving. Since the 7 is below the x, it's being divided, so we cross out the 7, bring it to the other side, and multiply. Since that's the opposite of dividing, we multiply to negative 6. Negative 6 times 7 is negative 42, so the answer is going to be negative 42. Number 4 says to solve. We have 2 over 9n equals 6. The first thing I like to do with these is rewrite that 2 over 9n as 2n over 9. It's the same thing. So then from there, I cross out the 9 and bring it to the other side and multiply it to 6. So I have 2n equals 6 times 9, which is 54. Divide both sides by 2, and n equals 27, which is going to be the answer. Skipping to number 6, we are solving this equation, so we're trying to get x by itself. This 2 is in the front, and since these two are being added, we can either add or subtract. So looking at the sign that this number is, it's positive. The opposite of positive is negative, so we subtract 2 from both sides. Negative 10 minus 2 is negative 12 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals negative 4. So that's going to be the answer. Number 7, we have 26 equals x over 4 plus 3. The first thing we need to do is move this 3 to get the term with the x by itself. To move this 3, we see it's being added, so we got to do the opposite, which is subtraction. So we subtract 3 from both sides. So you get 23 equals x over 4. Now 4 is dividing x, so to undo that, we cross the 4 out and bring it to the other side and multiply it to 23. 4 times 23 is 92, so the answer is going to be 92. Number 8, again we're solving. Start by adding 8 to both sides. Take care of that, adding and subtracting before we multiply. So add 8 to both sides, we'll get negative 5x equals 20. Then we divide both sides by negative 5, and x will equal negative 4. So that's going to be the answer. Looking at number 9, we have k minus 9 over 5 equals 11. All of this is in a fraction, and our variable we're solving for is up top it. So we get rid of the fraction first by crossing out the 5 and bringing it to the other side and multiplying it to 11. We write down everything that's left over here, which is k minus 9, and set that equal to 11 times 5, which is 55. So we have k minus 9 equals 55. Now we add 9 to both sides, and we get k equals 64. So that's going to be the answer. Number 10. In the triangle to the right, the measure of angle A equals the measure of angle B. Find the value of x. These two angles are equal because this is what's called an isosceles triangle, where the sides across from those angles are equal. So the angles across from equal sides are going to be congruent. So we just set 45 equal to 2x plus 3. So 45 equals 2x plus 3. So then we just subtract 3 from both sides, and we get 42 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 21. So my answer is going to be 21. Number 11. Solve the equation. We have b minus 1 plus 4b equals 30. Our like terms are b and 4b, so we got to combine them first. b plus 4b is 5b, then minus 1 equals 30. Add 1 to both sides, we'll have 5b equals 31. Divide both sides by 5, and we'll get b equals 31 over 5. And it doesn't reduce, so we leave it like that. And that's going to be the answer. Number 12, solve the equation. So we have to distribute first. So 7 times 3x is 21x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. So 21x minus 14 equals 28. Then we add 14 to both sides, and we'll get 21x equals 42. Divide both sides by 21, and x equals 2, and that's going to be the answer. Number 13, we're solving the equation. Notice that all we have are fractions, and every fraction has the same denominator. When that's the case, we can simply have a shortcut by crossing out all the denominators. So we'll have b minus 8b equals 28. Now we can combine the like terms. B minus 8b is negative 7b equals 28. Divide both sides by negative 7, and b equals negative 4. And that's going to be the answer. Number 14, solve the equation. Now in this one, each term is a fraction, but they all have different denominators. So what I like to do is make all the denominators the same. If you're having a harder time trying to find the least common denominator, simply multiply all the denominators together and use that number as your denominator. It doesn't have to be the least common denominator. So multiply these three together. 5 times 3 times 15 gives you 225. So we're going to make all the denominators 225. So we got to find what we multiply to each of these numbers to get 225. So what we do is divide for the first term, divide 225 by 5, and you get 45. So you multiply top and bottom by 45. 45 times 9 is 405. So write that on top to 225 for the first term. For the second term, again, we do 225 divided by our denominator here, which is 3. That gives you 75. Multiply top and bottom both by 75. So do 75 times 5. And that gives us 375m. Write that m next to it still. And then for the last term, we do 225 divided by 15. We get 15, so do 15 times 67. And we get 1005. Now from here, this is where we will cross out all our denominators because all we have are fractions and the denominators are all the same, so cross them out. And we're left with 405 plus 375m equals 1005. Subtract 405 from both sides. You'll get 375m equals 600. Divide both sides by 375. You'll get m equals 600 over 375. Now that can be reduced. So we'll get 8 over 5 when we reduce it. We would reduce it by dividing top and bottom by 75. So the answer is 8 over 5. So for number 15, we are solving the equation. We need to find common denominators here first. So to do that, we just multiply 8 times 9 and we get 72. So now we multiply each fraction or term by 72. So here we have 1 over 8 times 72. That would be the same as 72 divided by 8, which is 9. So 9b for the first term. For the second term, it will be 72 over 9. Will end up being, so that would be 8. So 9b plus 8. And then 72 times 13 is 936. Okay, so then from there, we just subtract 8 from both sides. We get 9b equals 928. Divide both sides by 9. And b equals 928 over 9. This is not reduced. That is the answer. Number 16, solve the equation. We're going to distribute this negative first. So we're going to change both of these signs. So we have 8n minus 6n minus 5 equals 11. Now we combine our like terms of 8n minus 6n. That gives me 2n. So 2n minus 5 equals 11. We add 5 to both sides, and we get 2n equals 16. Divide both sides by 2, and n is going to equal 8. so your answer is going to be 8. Number 17, we're solving the equation. Now these are ones where variables are on both sides of the equal sign, so move the smallest variable first, which in this case is negative 3y. So add 3y to both sides, you'll get 9y minus 4 equals 23. Add 4 to both sides, you'll get 9y equals 27. Divide both sides by 9, and x is going to equal 3. So your answer is going to be 3 for number 17. Number 18, same idea, variables on both sides of the equal sign. So start by moving the smallest variable, which is negative 7y. So add 7y to both sides. You'll get 8 equals 30y minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. You'll get 10 equals 30y. Divide both sides by 30. We'll get 10 over 30, which reduces down to 1/3. So your answer is going to be 1/3. Number 19. Determine whether the equation below is an identity or whether it has no solution. So the first thing we need to do is distribute in both of them. So distribute the 3 here, we'll get 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Over here, 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 6 is negative 54. So now we'll subtract 9x from both sides, and we'll get negative 18 equals negative 54, which is not true, so there's going to be no solution for this one. So the answer is no solution. Number 20, solve the equation, and note if the equation is an identity or if it has no solution. So first we're going to distribute the negative 3 into everything on the left. So negative 3 times negative c is positive 3c. Negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18, all equaling negative 3c minus 6. Move the smallest variable by adding 3c to both sides. You'll get 6c plus 18 equals negative 6. Subtract 18 from both sides. You'll get 6c equals negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 6. And the answer is going to be negative 4. It is not an identity, and it does have a solution. So again, the answer is negative 4.